Well, the last 2 years have been very difficult, simply because we don't know anything. I mean, a lot of information was gathered, but that information didn't get us any closer to knowing where she is. Where she was last seen, it's like she just dropped off the radar at that point. And, we had high hopes when, they told us about the phone ping and everything, and we did the ground search in September of 2021. But, and be honest, I didn't want to find anything because I thought, oh my God, I just couldn't even imagine us finding anything there, because we're looking for remains or any evidence. So I'm like, if we find her, we don't want to find her in this way. We want to find her alive.
Take me back to that time when she went missing. Tell me what it was like for the family, and tell me a little bit about where she went missing, what was going on in her
Okay.
life.
Well, first of all, the one thing that needs to be cleared up is the fact that and I meant to have that text message pulled up on my phone, but she, oh God, Sheena texted me November 3rd and just said, Mom's in the hospital in the ER, but she said it was a non-emergency thing. Okay, so there was nothing dire going on with my sister. She was not gravely ill, as a lot of news reports had stated. She had just had frequent hospital visits, and Sheena was Linda's power of attorney. So that was obviously why she was just letting me know, and that she said I'd be home tomorrow. So I'm like, okay. But since she didn't come, I just texted her and said, if you're still coming, can you do your mom's hair or something like that? But she never responded. And so I'm like, well, she's an adult. If whenever she's ready to come, she can come. And so we just really didn't think anything about it, just because there was an emergency situation. It was just, she said, I'm coming, and she didn't come. And another thing that was out there, that she was driving home. Sheena doesn't have a car, so she wasn't driving here. She would have, her mode of transportation to make long distance travel was on the bus. She was here in September, and she left in September. She was not here in October, as it was stated on one of those shows or whatever. She was in Chicago in October, and I did talk to her in October. So I know she was there. What I don't know is where she was staying. She didn't tell me, and I didn't ask. She just left saying she was going back to Chicago for a job interview. And I thought, well, why is she going for a job interview when you were thinking about coming here to help take care of your mom? So the logic behind her wanting to come home, take care of her mom, is because we really didn't want her mom to be in the nursing home. But so it was an ideal situation, and she had just had a breakup with her boyfriend, so it was kind of like a win-win situation. She could get away from Chicago and come home and take care of her mom. So when we didn't hear from her, though, after a couple weeks, like I said, it didn't get serious for me, for mom, or anybody until her birthday came, and that was November 16th. And so everyone was wishing her happy birthday, trying to call on Facebook, whatever, and nothing. So then that really got weird. So I talked with her mom, I talked with her father, and they both said, well, Sheena, she's, and that was a lot of times her MO. You wouldn't hear from her for a little bit, and then all of a sudden you'd hear from her. So once Thanksgiving came and went, that's when I asked her dad. I said, I think we should report her missing. He said, well, if I just said, can you give me your permission? I'll do it. If you don't, can I? And he said, go ahead. So I did. And but the thing is, and a lot of people say the Chicago police dropped the ball, Yes and no. Yes, they did, because for family and friends and loved ones, we seen the urgency in where is she, you know. But they're like, well, she's an adult. She's a 40-year-old female. We don't have any evidence of a crime having been committed or anything like that. So, you know, they didn't really do anything. So it took her friends who were in Chicago that knew a lot more of her circumstances and what was going on. They dug up a lot of information. They started an email um, to where people could uh, send in tips or whatever. We got the missing persons flyers. They helped put all that up. So I, you know, applaud them for stepping up and helping us out because they're there.
So the last year you heard from her was 2021.
No, 2020. It's when
2020.
2020. In I actually talked with her in October, but the text message came November. I mean, did I? Okay, wait a minute. 2021. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm getting all mixed up.
So 2021,
Yes.
you spoke with her in October that year,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's it.
Yes, because she was making preparations, and that's where I was a little confused, because she said she, you know, wanted to come move back home to help take care of her mom. So that was in September when we talked about it. She stayed with me for like about a week. Then I took her to Muscatine. She stayed with her sister for a few days, stayed with her dad for a few days, and then she left from there going back to Chicago. But the thing was, when she said she was going for a job interview, and I'm like, well, why a job interview if you're gonna come back here? But meanwhile, when she stayed with me, she asked me if she could, while she's job hunting, because she was gonna look for a job, could she use my address? And I gave her my permission to do so. So, and it wasn't long after that that I was getting mail for her, but it was just for like applying for Medicaid or whatever and things like that until she got on her feet. Um, but she, at that time, was not working anywhere. So the job that we last knew that she had, police did, you know, talk with them, but she hadn't worked there since sometime in September, I think.
What what can
It's,
people do to help?
well, first of all, you know, we, the first thing everyone wants to do, including myself, is to bash Chicago Police Department, and say what they didn't do and what they could have done, et cetera, et cetera. As true as that may be, that's not going to help. What helps is if you have access to getting the flyer, and I hope you can put up that information, and share it. Share it on any of your social media, and anywhere. It doesn't have to be in the Chicago area. Anywhere in the United States of America, if wherever you live, share her information, because the more eyes that see her face and know that she's missing, somebody may recognize her. Because we don't know where she is, and she could be anywhere. And, you know, if you have any information, like last time I spoke with the detective, she said that from the disappeared episode that they only got one tip. And they were gonna follow up on that, but she was very surprised that that was all that they got. And I'm like, wow. So we need people to, her name needs to be like a household name to get the buzz and know that she's missing. She's still missing. We're still looking for her. She's not forgotten. She's still loved, and we want some answers.
She's 42.
She will be 42 this month on the 16th.
And tell me about her. Tell me where people might see her. I know she liked everybody. She had a lot of friends. She was a social person.
She was a social person. Sheena loved to dance. I I didn't see her do a lot of it, but I know that she does love to dance, and she's just very playful. I see her interact with her nieces, my great nieces, and she's just real playful and likes to laugh and have fun. And could be the life of a party if there was one. I've not been in that environment with her, but and she's really smart. She's very smart. But truth be told, she wasn't, I don't think, very, I don't want to not call her smart, but when it came to relationships and the type of men she chose to be involved with, not so much. And so, but yes, the police have spoken with people in her past, recent past, and beyond. So those interviews did happen, because I know a lot of people were asking about that. What have the police done? After she was initially reported missing, the person that was assigned to her case really did gather a lot of information, but just didn't act on anything. When we told her about the Greenleaf house, she's like, well, I'll get over there and talk to them. But, then I called to follow up, and, oh, she's out of the office. She's on leave for whatever reason. And then, a week later. So a lot of time was just lost for just little things, excuse me. And so unfortunately, by the time they got around to getting over there and talking to people, those surveillance videos were gone.
Is there any organization that's helping? Is there a group of people?
No, we initially were going to get assistance from the Operation Push Rainbow Coalition, but I don't know what happened with that. It's like, I hate to use the phrase ghosted us, but that's pretty much what happened. They seemed interested in helping out with the case, but then nothing. But I think another thing, maybe, I don't know if it would be helpful, but whatever state anyone that sees this lives in, if there's like a missing persons network of any sort there, perhaps you could maybe post her flyer, missing person flyer, and I don't know. I brainstorm all the time trying to think of something to do, and I just don't know.
And she has a sister and a mom and a dad in
Yes.
this general area. In the
Her
Quad Cities
sister
area.
and dad live in Muscatine, and her mother's here in a nursing facility.
Have they heard from anybody, any other relatives or friends?
As far as where
Any
she might
tips
be,
or where she at?
no. It's just, I mean, of course, I have thoughts of what could have happened, as well as some of her friends. Unfortunately, I can't say that, but, and I have no proof of it. It's just a thought of what I think. And when I spoke with the detective, I asked her if it was possible to get the FBI involved. And she said she would check with her boss, and then she sent me an email a couple weeks ago and said that they said there's not enough evidence of anything to take on the case. So I'm like, what do you need? I mean,
Refresh my memory with this. The phone pinging. Tell me a little bit about that area and when they found that ping.
and that was the other thing. According to the police, according to the detective, she said it takes time to get subpoenas for phone records. And it took a long time. And I'm like, really? I said, maybe I watch too much television, but it doesn't seem like it takes that long. But she said, well, that's not reality. The reality is it takes a while to get phone companies to even want to hand over records because of privacy issue, because they had no evidence that there was a crime committed. So we were back to that. And I'm like, my God, I don't know. So once they got the records and they found that last ping, that's what prompted them to say, we're going to do this ground search and just see.
And what area was that in?
Winthrop Harbor, which I had never heard of it until that time. It's in Illinois, but it's close to the Wisconsin border. So yeah, and that was probably the most heart-wrenching thing I've done, at least in a long time, to travel to an unknown area that I've never heard of or been before, looking for my niece.
Did they find her phone?
No,
So just evidence of it.
just from the phone records based on her phone number. Yeah.
What else can we tell people?
To just remember her face. Her face is very distinctive, and all the different pictures, we put them all out there because she, depending on how she wears her hair, she can take on different looks. But so you can see them all and know that she might look like this one day, and she might have braids another day, she might have a hat on another day, but just remember her face because she's got very distinctive features. So if you're anywhere, and even if you say, oh, that's probably not her, if you think it might be, report it. All it is a phone call to the Chicago Police Department. And even if it's here, you can even call Davenport Police, I'm sure, and they'll get that information to Chicago Police, and let them follow up on it. Any tip is better than no tip.
What else do you want people to know?
Just know, again, I can't say enough how much we love Sheena, and we want her found, and we will stop at nothing to figure it out. We'll figure it out. It could take years, but I'm not even thinking years. I'm thinking days, weeks, months maybe, but I just can't see us having to be going through this in years to come. I don't.
Anything else?
No. Once again, in the event that Sheena's someplace where she could be held captive, there's all kinds of options, and she can see me or hear my voice. Sheena, we love you. Your family loves you. Your mother loves you. Your father, sister, nieces, nephews, all love you, and we want you home. And if you can leave any kind of trail so we can find you, we'll try to pick up on them, but we just want you found, and we want you home and safe. And you are a fighter, so do whatever you have to do to try to get to us while we're here trying to do what we have to do to get to you. That's all.